Food allergies in kids seem to be popping up more and more often. As a matter of fact, CDC data shows food allergies impact about 8% of children in the U.S. That's 1 in 13 kids. This morning, we're diving into the topic with 9 Health expert Dr. Payal Kohli. Thank you for coming in. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey.
So is that true? Like, it seemed more allergies are happening in kids. Why?
It's interesting. We're seeing it more, especially here in the United States and other first world countries. And there's some possible scientific reasons. One is what's called the hygiene hypothesis, which is that early in life, perhaps we're not being exposed to the agents, so our immune system doesn't learn how to tolerate them. It starts to think they're bad guys, and so when we get exposed to them later, whether that's certain foods or even, household dust, dust mites, dander, cockroaches, those types of things, our body gets allergic to them and reacts.
Okay, so it's almost like if your immune system is bored, they want to like overreact or something?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's bored, and it hasn't been taught correctly that these are the good guys. So it thinks everybody that it sees is a bad guy. So you almost want to try to introduce those antigens, those proteins to your immune system a little bit on the earlier side, which is why a lot of the American Academy of Pediatrics says that you should try to start to introduce certain foods, particularly the ones that can cause allergies, around 4 to 6 months to your kids.
So let's talk about like the most common allergies and if kids can outgrow them or not.
Yeah, so cow's milk, that's the big one.
Okay.
That is the most common by far in infants and in kids. And thankfully, most people do outgrow it, but not until they become adolescents for the most part. So I actually have a cousin who's allergic to cow's milk, and we have to have all her food separate at Thanksgiving.
That's hard because it's in like cheese and butter, it's in everything.
Everything that we eat, yeah, exactly. Wheat is another one that we can outgrow usually. Eggs. That's another one, about 1 to 9%. Most of us outgrow that too. The one that we don't usually outgrow, that 75% of us don't outgrow, is peanuts.
Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah, and tree nuts. And that can be also difficult because you're on an airplane or something like that, and there's peanuts pretty much everywhere.
It's in everything. I mean, you really have to read labeling. It can be very scary for kids. How are food allergies diagnosed?
So, the caregiver, the parent, is usually the first person to diagnose them because they have some kind of an adverse reaction to the food, whether that's a rash, nausea, vomiting, itching. Sometimes kids can have wheezing. You need to have your radar up. If you have other people in the family who have food allergies, or you have asthma or eczema in your family, because those are all things that sort of travel together. Once you see an adverse food reaction, then you go talk to your doctor. They can do blood tests, they can do skin tests, and then they can even do something called a food challenge, where they can actually try to give the child food under supervised settings and try to elicit that response.
Wow, so what should parents know about food allergies?
I think the biggest thing of any parent, or any family member for that matter, of somebody with food allergies, what to do if somebody has an allergic reaction. And the largest piece of that is having an EpiPen handy, knowing how to use it, knowing how to administer it, because you could save somebody's life if it's a true anaphylaxis. So there's spectrum of how allergic we are. Itching, rash is kind of the lower end of the spectrum, but the anaphylaxis is a potentially life-threatening reaction where the immune system's just gone to war. It releases all these chemicals. It can close up your throat, it can cause trouble breathing, it can cause tongue swelling, and that's obviously, like I said, life-threatening. So the way to treat that is by giving, it's usually like a clicker, and you can put it in the thigh, you can put it in the arm, quickly giving somebody an epinephrine injection, that's called an EpiPen, and you could save their life.
And then call 911, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So they'll feel better immediately. So you don't stop there, because there's also something called bimodal anaphylaxis where it can come back. So as soon as you get them stabilized, feeling better, you call 911 right away.
Such a scary thing. Dr. Kohli, thank you for coming in.